All right, here. Miranda Diffie, Leona Frankenstein. If that don't jump out at you, I don't know what will. I'm in Empire, Alabama, Little Vine Cemetery. And this sits, there's a church across the street, or at least a building. It's hard to see if it's still used, but that little church. (2012). This is Marcy Danada. I guess that's a little girl right there. D. Smith, and then they've got this bench here. Interesting stuff, Monkey D. All right, all these on the front row have pictures on them. Pardon?
This one was only 10 years old. So
Eddie Ray Limley, 40 years of age. Or less than 40. Actually died when he was 39, according to, if I'm reading that right. And Limley. So, looking up some stories in regards to some of these. See, it's like 49. Jack Talbert. Pops. There's a set of dice there. And interestingly enough, this Limley, for whatever reason, and we may find something on it, but calculators. So I don't know exactly what the purpose of the calculators was, but math teacher, possibly. Don't know. But these are kind of newer graves on this end. Here's I would say this little child had pet dogs. 1, 2, 3 is toys. You can't read that stone too well. Take time. Too small to smell the flowers. Several little dogs there. This is not a new grave. Oh, I guess he's bringing something in his mouth. These people made their own stones. 1953 to 2020, my age. Just a year older, thereabouts. Hallmark. This goes on down by the side here, huh? We got 17, beloved husband, married 1968. To death did they part. This was right on this slope here. This is really kind of a strange place here to put a grave, but it don't say how long that was been there. Cato, this is on this slope here. This is relatively interesting way to put these here. 2020, Stephanie Young. Cato, Stephanie Lee Cato, 83 was born. Young people, young people. So I've been 20 or 17 years. 17 years. So, this grave here, Stephanie Lee Cato, when she was 30 years old, and it looks like she died when she was, my phone keeps blinking out here, 20, looks like she died when she was 37, but at 30 years of age, public intoxication, possession of marijuana, possession of something else, illegal drugs, clearly. 20, was it 37 years of age, and wow. There's a picture of her there. Don't find a lot of information about her. But she had some issues with drugs, clearly. 37, Empire, passed away Sunday, September the 20th. She was attended West Jefferson Somerton Dora Schools, member of the high school Bulldogs marching band, preceded in death. She had quite a family, but unfortunately she had what seems to be some issues with drugs. I can only assume that that would have had something to do with her death a year ago, just a little over a year ago now. According to this, she had an arrest record when she was 30 years old for a variety of drugs and intoxication. Life is short, and you can make it shorter if you want to. You can really make it shorter. Some people have decades of life. Other people, not so much. This cemetery was established in 1899. This person here, born 1897, died in 1907. And you say, well, we died young back then, but according to what I'm seeing, of course, we still die young today. All right, we're gonna meander back and forth. Interesting cemetery, to say the least. Try to give a little bit of information about some of the graves when I find one that looks like it might have a bit of a story to it. And I guess I can use the exercise, right? It says 1906 to 1938. Ada Estella Kegel. See, they died young. There's a lot of young people in this cemetery. A lot of young people buried in this cemetery. (1864), right around the Civil War time, to 1913. 36, 46, died in their 50s. Died in their 50s. This seems to be people overall. I haven't found anybody that lived a very lengthy period of time and is buried here. Look at this one here. Robert Aaron, born in 32, so I'll be 18 years of age. 18 years of age. 29 to 46. Look at all these young people in this cemetery. It's almost like there's a curse out here at Empire, Alabama. The 10, 17 years of age, Max Henson. Am I figuring this right? It's just one young after another. This is about the oldest one I've seen yet. Is this Weinson, born 1871 to 1941, 70 years of age. And then looks like some child's graves next to that. This is something they did at one time. And these two graves are covered over by these big stones. Huge stones. TJP is all you can read of that. These look like baby graves here, but all the youth in this grave, in this cemetery, all the youth. This is totally cemented over. 1857 to 1917. Be 50 years of age. Still pretty young. God, longevity is not a thing out here at all. So far. Not a thing at all. Wow. There is a lot of young people that have died in Empire, Alabama and gotten buried out here. Their 50s, 60s. Longevity is not a thing out here at all. This is something. Not in this cemetery. Son Ricky Weathers, January 1, 1954. Doesn't say date of birth, date of death. Usually when it's one date on a tombstone, they were stillborn or died right after birth. Mention Creel, Robbins. So here we get somebody that has lived a length of time. And Kathleen C., the mother, just died June of this year, June the 5th. The father died in 2008. So that was 83 years of age. There's some longevity here. But my goodness, all these others. Ford. There's a mixture of newer and older right together. Usually there's an old part of a cemetery and a new part of the cemetery, but this is kind of all mixed together. It's 1920. So I'm going to walk up this way and then walk back down the other side. This is only a hill. These are decorated. Of course, there's a lot of these flowers. They're not real flowers. They're fake flowers. But somebody got the American flag and a bunch of flowers on it. 1938 to 1980, Mary Frances Smith. Gosh, was that 42 years of age? Another young one. Another young. Now here's somebody. Excellent. Leland Hill. And he goes right up to the fence line over there. 60 years of age there, Anita. Longevity wasn't a thing here in Empire, Alabama. Not buried in this cemetery. This is a very decorated grave sites. Mary Joyce Franklin, 61, is that right? Or 71. And Jesse Eugene. And then what's in the center for 1956 to 2018? Don't really identify who's buried in the center there, but this is interesting. Is that a sleigh? Yeah. Okay. All right. Never been here before, and I don't see the name I was actually looking for, and it was only a speculation from memory of somebody that thought they had family buried at this cemetery. There's a lot of Aarons I've run across. Savage, and 1890 to 1977. There's more back then. People living longer than the younger generation. 21 to 81, 60, and 75. So, all right, let me make a way back down here. A lot of Kegels, Aarons. I don't see any of the name that I was actually looking for here. I don't want to slip on you. Of course, you wouldn't be buried in Alabama without advertising that you're a Alabama football fan. Leaves here. Going to be May. It's a maze. Oh wow, this is almost a spooky. This is almost. Look at that. They each had a angel presented over their final resting place. Wow. So, but the markers, you can't tell who they were. Can't tell who they were, but they believe in decorating these graves out here. This one here is another Another child's grave. Born and died the same day. Born and died the same day. Certainly never had a chance to enjoy any of those toys that are laying on top here. I guess the family, the parents sure had hopes and dreams. See, here's and come back up this way. Look at this, Jackie Ray Wingo, 60, which is still considerably young. Not as young as some of these were. 26 to 64 is 38. Yeah. Wow. These look like freshly